So you'll not make money on a deal just to build the relationship with the agent.
Yep. Do that 100 offers and you will get your first deal. And within 29 days of watching my first video that you posted, we had it under contract and got that buyer. So
that's the golden ticket to on market.
And when that hits, you're like, I love this. Wholesale is amazing. I will never, stop doing this.
So Ryan, I'm super excited to talk to you because you're a rare exception in that you got into this business very early, very young. And correct me if I'm wrong, as a 17-year-old, got started wholesaling and did $100,000 plus in revenue as a high schooler, 17 years old. Is that right?
Yeah, I have not even walked for graduation yet.
Okay. So you graduate this summer?
Yeah. So June 1st is when I'll fly back into Indy and go walk and everything. I already graduated online.
Yeah.
Obviously, I had to come out here, but yeah, it's official on June 1st.
Okay. So you're done with school, but you graduate in June. Is that right? So you're not.
Yeah.
So how'd that work? You finished your senior year and then now you still have to go through the graduation?
Yeah. So as first semester, I kind of had all my credits and everything. Yeah. And they were like, yeah, I mean, he's good to go. And I was just kind of like, it was at the point where my teachers kind of knew what I was doing. There was sometimes I'd get calls. I'd have to step out of class. I was getting calls from title company. They're like, hey, we need this document. I'm like, all right, I got to go do this. So, yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, I've only interviewed one other person that I'm close with Brian Russo, and very similar story. Senior in high school, did $100,000 his senior year in high school before even graduating. He'd get home from school and work the phones, and just absolutely amazing to see. I'm so fascinated with understanding a little bit more about you, what makes you tick, why you're so driven, how you were able to just do so well at such a young age right out of the gate. I mean, you can grow a full beard at 17. I certainly couldn't do that at 17.
Yeah. That's just God willing. But
what makes
honestly,
you tick?
Yeah, so I think just growing up, it was probably around freshman year when I didn't really like the idea of going to college, and I kind of started seeing things where it was like, I feel like I'm in a system where I'm forced to go do something. And I knew there was an out, growing up watching things like Shark Tank or just seeing things in movies, whatever. I was like, I want to be an entrepreneur. And it was actually freshman year when I got into day trading, and I would be hopping on my dad's account. And it was at one point I made it was $5,000. I was just day trading. It was like, all right, this is dumb. And then, time went on and I got to the point, where it was junior year and my grades were slipping a lot. And I was just like, all right, what's going to happen? I don't want to do this college thing. I feel forced to go do this. I was actually applied to go to ASU. And I was going to go there, study business. I kind of knew I wanted to do real estate. I really liked it, just the idea of it. And then one day this guy pops up on my YouTube and his name's Jerry Norton. And then I guess the rest was history from there.
So you started watching some videos on YouTube. You found my channel. What about that was the most helpful? What helped you get started from?
Yeah. So I actually had a buddy of mine from the gym. His name's Noah Wallen. He's pretty successful in the wholesale industry. And he put me onto you. He learned just from you as well. And he was like, go watch Jerry, go watch him call, watch him comp. And then literally all you have to do is make, like you said, do that 100 offers and you will get your first deal. And within 29 days of watching my first video that you posted, we had it under contract and got that buyer. So yeah.
And that was on market?
Yeah, it was on market. Yep.
And that was in Indianapolis?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. And you were from there, so you were living there and you were working your backyard market.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was because I was up in a little town called Fishers, which is 45 minutes out of central Indy.
Okay. And on that 29th day from first video, 29 days in, many offers do you think? Do you remember how many offers do you think you made to get that first one?
I bet you I was in like the 75 to 85 range, I would say.
Okay. Yeah. So 75 to 80 offers deep. You're about a month in. That sounds about right if you're doing it,
Yeah.
4 to 5 a day. And then was that first contract a successful deal? Like, did it make it to the finish line?
Yep.
Okay.
Made it to the finish line. So I got it under contract on August 10th. And then we sold it, closed on title September 10th.
Okay. And that's and how much was that one? Did it make?
So that was, it literally only paid me like 1,200, but it was like 1,250 that it paid me. But it did not matter. Like, still to this day, it does not matter how much money I make off deals nowadays. That was my favorite deal. That was the best day of my life. Like, it was just the proof of concept. It was like, I can sit on my laptop in my parents' house in my bedroom, say the right number on a phone, get 2 pieces of paper signed, and money. It's like,
it's crazy. I was on Steve Trang's podcast a few days ago or a few weeks ago, and I was telling Steve, I said, "Isn't it fascinating that a single piece of paper, the assignment of contract, which is a one sheet of paper, can literally make millions of dollars, just that one piece of paper that allows you to assign a contract with basically no money into the purchase." It's just fascinating that that's even possible.
It's so crazy because I mean, we think about, like, obviously when I'm starting, I'm looking at all these houses that need to be flipped, they're low ARV, but it's the principle. Like, I could go assign one of these buildings behind me if I had the right stuff. And when you apply that concept to all of these things, you really realize how big of a deal wholesale is.
Yeah. And where you can go with it and what you can do with it. Because once you dial in the process, now you just have to get really good about managing the process. And if you learn how to manage the process well, get some tools and then get a few people on the team, now you can do multiple of those a month, and you can start hitting some real numbers. And it's just fascinating how that's possible. Every day I wake up and I'm like, how is this possible? It's the most amazing thing ever. Which is probably why they're trying to stop it, right? But it's a cool thing that we're able to do that if you grasp it all the way and you embrace it and you run with it like you're doing.
Yeah.
And so, man, and you were at that time, you were a junior, or was that your senior year when you did that first one?
So senior, it was just this last year, senior year. I was 17 years old, just getting on the phone with agents, just gunning it,
And you recently did maybe it was about a month ago, you did a 15K assignment deal that was a pocket listing.
Ooh, 20, yeah.
20K. Okay, 20K. Yeah. Let's talk about this one, because when I read that you did this as a pocket listing, you actually did what the double dip strategy is intended to do, what the on market, the big play is. It's not about the deal, it's about the relationship, because the relationship will turn into deals. And a pocket listing is when that relationship is now paying off. Yeah. Because what happened was that you didn't get that pocket listing for any other reason than you previously solidified a relationship and you built trust. And now that agent is reaching out to you on a future deal that's not even listed yet. So now you're doing an off market deal that was procured by an agent with a seller that you did not have to pay for. That agent did all the work to sit down with that seller and agree on a number and get a listing agreement. Maybe they spent marketing, maybe they didn't, but you didn't have to, because of a relationship you previously created. That's the golden ticket to on market.
And exactly like you say, because what we kind of figured out with the business was, because I did try dialing at one point, but we were like, all right, we hated that. And then also just the on market deals, there was only so much money we were pulling out of them. And, everyone knows it's just those off-market deals, they're the bangers, right? So we were like, what way can we have it where we have an off-market lead generation system that we have to pay zero marketing? If we can figure this out, like, we're beating the entire game. And we figured it out. So now at this point, we have about 5 agents that bring us 1 to 2 deals a month. They know exactly, what's going on. They've shifted their entire kind of career into where I've even had one of my agents leave their broker and go to a different broker and just go into the investment sector of that broker, just because it's so flawless where they get their money, the seller is getting the money that they need, the cash. And then, obviously we're getting the deal on our end. Our buyers are happy. It's perfect.
It's working well. And you're getting those a little deeper now, right? Like you can make a bigger spread on those ones because
yeah.
they're off market.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the deal size has jumped from around 5K a deal, which were the on market ones, to around, 10, 15, 20.
Yeah, I think if you're only able to do on-market deals on existing listed properties, then, you're going to squeeze out of those 5, 7, maybe 10 on the high side. But because it's on market already, everybody sees it, it's just going to be hard to get a deep buy. Off market is where you get the deep buys, which is why it's very attractive. People spend a lot of money to get to that game, but what you found a nice sweet spot where you've now got agents that are doing the work to have the right conversation with a seller and keeping it off market. Now, agents don't just know to do this. This is something that you have to teach the agent how to do. But once they get it, then it's game over, because what they're going to do is they're going to sit down with the seller and they're going to say, look, we can take this on market and we can get this listed, but here's what's going to happen. We're going to have showings. We're going to have all kinds of people coming in your property. They're going to want to get inspections and they're going to do appraisals and they're going to need financing. We can do all of that if you want to. Or I got this guy, Ryan, that I work with, and he's a cash buyer and works with cash buyers, and we can make this super fast and easy and not even take it on market. Do you want to see what that looks like? Right? This is the conversation agents are having. And now that seller's like, are you kidding me? At the end of the day, that's what I want. I want a cash offer. And you're telling me we can get this done fast and I don't got to go through all that brain damage. Let's go. And now everybody wins, right? Agents getting they're getting their cut, sellers getting a price they're okay with, and you're able to get a deeper buy that you can assign for a profit.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's flawless.
And so how have you developed those relationships? What have you done to get those agents, like, now essentially bird dogging for you? I mean, that's what they're doing. They're bird dogging for you deals.
Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, that's a great question. And I like to talk to a lot of people about this because I think a lot of people will be really focused in on that assignment fee at the end of the day. But there's been deals where I take a zero cut on it, where I just know, hey, I can go text this to a buyer or whatever. I know they're going to buy it. I take a cut on it. I'm not even getting an assignment fee. It's under contract at 70. I go sell it to my buyer at 70. But just to get that agent paid, that says so much to them. And in the long term, building that relationship pays in tenfold.
So you'll not make money on a deal just to build the relationship with the agent.
Yep.
Guys, you guys hear that? I mean, no one does that. No one's willing to do that, right? Most people would walk from a deal. But what you're saying is I'm playing the long game here. And I know that if this agent has a successful transaction where they're getting double commission, basically, they're going to be my go-to. I'm going to be their one they call, and I'll make up for it in the next deal or in the long run. That's how you're viewing this.
Yes. I mean, that's just kind of what I saw with it, because, the relationship game, the network, that's what really boosts you up in real estate. And I mean, there was this one when I did it, it really paid off because the seller was an investor that was really trying to liquidate just because of some tax reasons and whatnot. And me getting that buyer into place so fast, he ended up telling that agent that was delivering me the pockets, hey, I have 3 more. This was so fast, go give them. And then, we made the money there. So
oh my God, it was genius.
It hit and I was like, oh, let's go.
Yeah. And right now, then, you've got about 5 agents bringing you 1 to 2 good deals a month.
Yep.
And guys, that's in a single market. Now, I'm going to project here a little bit, Ryan, but I'll bet you that if you keep playing the game you're playing, right? If you keep focusing on these relationships, that 5 agents could turn into 10 agents, could turn into 20 agents. And imagine now you've got, I feel like to me, the magic number to really have a dialed in business with this is about 25 agents that are bringing the deals to you. They're giving you first shot at them. You're their go-to. Now, it doesn't mean they're all going to pencil necessarily like you're finding, but you have about 25 agents in a given market that are doing that. I mean, you're doing 5 deals a month easy.
Yeah.
5 to 10 a month.
We're probably about at a deal a week or more right now.
Yeah, you're almost there.
Yeah, it's so we're building up there, and obviously, it's not been a give up on the on market cold calling. I want to point that out too. I don't want anyone to say, "Oh, I got my agents," and then they're just stopping. I think it's important that they see you need to keep making those on market calls and keep building those relationships, because if you're not making those offers, there's no way to scale the amount of agents you have.
Not only that, but things could change, or you're a little bit at the mercy of those 5 agents. So you don't want to run, you don't want to have a business model that's dependent on 5 agents. That's not a very smart move, right? So what you're saying is man, we're always working on developing out relationships, which means you got to dedicate a lot of time to just calling agents, building, trying to build that relationship, making offers on other things, and following up a lot on agents. But the goal there would be, you're always building new relationships. And if those previous ones fade out or stop working or whatever, you're okay, because you're always building new relationships.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And tell me about your buyer side. Are you working your own buyers, or do you JV, or how do you get your dispo done right now?
Yeah, so I'm acquisition. So then I have a business partner, my guy Noah, who really basically taught me about this whole entire industry and really got me to this place. So a lot of credit to him. He's my dispo guy. He takes care of the whole buyer side. And then I do our acquisition. It's got to the point where in Indy right now, so wholesaling is really big in Indy, where, a lot of those buyers will buy it and then they relist it. So that's where those off market come in and hit really good. So we have the 3 biggest wholesale companies in Indy, and we actually just had a pretty serious conversation with one of them, and we are now their exclusive AC people. So they're buying like anything that we get. Yeah,
I might know one of them. I talked to one of the big guys there that does the takedown, where they buy it, resell it.
Okay.
I can't remember his name. I'm gonna find his contact and make sure he might be one of them you already have, but
Okay.
but I'm gonna send that to you, because that'd be a great contact for you. And they buy from wholesalers.
Oh yeah, awesome.
Yeah, they buy from wholesalers, and then because I like that model as well, where you just buy it and resell it. In fact, that's a big, for me in the future, that's gonna be a big part of my business. I talked to these guys on the call about this quite a bit, but what's crazy is, and I've had this happen to me, maybe you've seen it happen to you, where I wholesale it for 10 or 15 grand, and then I watch that guy just resell it for 50 grand. Yeah. And I'm like, why didn't I do that? So, but a lot of those guys are able to do that because they're well capitalized. And so, that's a game changer when you can do that.
One of the really cool things that one of our biggest buyers does is sometimes they will actually take those houses, and instead of reselling them and getting the cash instantly, they go put it on seller finance terms.
And
so do that.
Yeah, and what they'll do is they bought right, so they'll put them on seller finance, like on the back on the exit, and then they'll go refinance and pull their capital out.
Yep.
Do it again.
And go recycle it and do it again.
Read the paper. Yeah. So smart, right? Really smart way to stay in the deal. So, by the way, if you get one, Ryan, that's a good like takedown type of deal, where you're like, man, this thing's clean. It just needs new pictures and back on the MLS, and there's a huge spread on it. Reach out to me, because I've got some lenders that I'm I'm testing out this model where they lend 100% of the purchase.
Okay.
And then you pay the fees when you sell. So
Yeah.
they accrue. And then when you sell it 30, 60 days later, you pay off the principal plus all the fees. And as long as to me, it's like a cost of business. As long as you factor in that cost of capital and then your deal pencils, dude, you're like, oh, well,
Yeah.
and years, right? Like it doesn't matter anymore
Yeah.
because you factored it into the deal.
Yeah. That's another thing on the bucket list. Do a deal with Jerry. We got to do one together.
Let's do it, because here's the thing with on market, especially if you could actually take down those deals, it makes your life like 100 times easier, because
Oh,
now you can tell the agent I'm the real buyer. We're not doing any of these assignments, and they feel better about it, because there's always uncertainty in the assignment, because if you can't find a buyer, then you're going back to the agent and having a hard conversation about backing out or renegotiating. Nobody likes that. So I love to be in the driver's seat where I'm the buyer and I can say, I'm the buyer. Here's proof of funds. Here's non-refundable earnest money, right? Like I can come in hot and heavy and really strong, because I don't need to have a loosey-goosey contract in the event I can't find a buyer. I am the buyer. So it just puts you in such a better driver's seat with deals.
yeah. I mean, and having that conviction that, you're the buyer, the cash is ready on the sales end, I think it helps just push it that much further. So I love that.
And I think if you do it right, then you should be making twice as much as you do doing the regular assignment of contract.
Yeah. I mean, and it's the same principle. It's the same deals that we're finding. It's
right.
Yeah.
Acquisitions doesn't really change. Like it's the same type of distressed seller. The only thing different is you're taking it down, funding it, and then putting it back on the MLS. And I mean, think about it. Now it's vacant. Anybody can go see it. It's just your life on Dispo is so much easier.
Yeah. I mean, let's go. We'll start doing that.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. I'd love to see if I can get you funding on a deal like that. So let's try to do one.
All right.
What do you think for people listening right now? I mean, you're like an inspiration, not just because you're doing the business and you did the work and got a deal, but you're so young. I think for other young people, it's such an inspiration to see someone like still in high school doing this business. It goes to show you, I think it proves to me that what we do isn't rocket science. It's just more of like elbow grease, like just show up. And more than anything, to me, it feels like rejection's the hardest thing, like getting all the no's, and that a lot of people struggle with it. But as far as like the strategy itself, it's like third grade math that we do when we wholesale, like it's actually not very complicated what we do. We run a simple formula and we make a lot of offers, done, right?
Yeah.
What can you share with somebody that's maybe overcomplicated it? They made it hard, or they think it's hard, or they're struggling. In their mind, it is hard. That whatever reasons people tell themselves why they can't do something is true. If you believe it, it's true. But how have you done that? How have you dealt with just being so young and overcoming any type of like negativity or rejection? What's your secret to just go do the business?
Yeah, I think it's just really understanding what you want, your end goal, and then understanding that, there's people out there like me doing this. There's people like you who built it up to this huge monumental thing. So we know that the system works. And if they can truly believe that that system works and just really nail it in that it's a numbers game and they just have to keep being consistent, keep pushing out those offers, then at the end of the day, there's going to be that day where you get paid. I mean, I did my first deal and then it was like a dry spout for about 2 months. And luckily, I mean, I had this killer mentor that just was like, my partner, no, he was just like, dude, you better not give up on me. Like you did your first deal, like you're doing all these offers, you cannot quit now. And he just kept pushing me. And then we kept making the offers. And it was like the month after that, it was like 3 deals, boom. Mm-hmm. And it was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I kept pushing. And one of the biggest things that I just like to tell everyone is like, you will forget about all those hundreds of thousands of calls you made when you're at that end goal. Once you've had that, 10K month, you're not thinking about on month 2 when you would call, 15 people in a day and everyone was yelling at you because you're lowballing them. It's just, it all goes out the window and you're just at this point of happiness where you're like, I did it. I pushed through. It was all worth it.
It's almost like it sweetens it because you earned it, like you took your lumps to get to it. And, whenever you make a sacrifice, I think the reward is always equivalent to the sacrifice we're willing to make. The value of anything is only equal to the sacrifice you made to get it.
Yeah.
So, like doing this business, you go through those calls and there is that hard, but all that means is you've got more contrast to the sweetness of success. And like you said, I think what you're doing, Ryan, is when you hit that moment of like success and we got a contract and we made some money and we did a deal, you're letting that dopamine rush like push you now through to a whole new level and sustain you. Like that's sustaining if you allow it. Right. And so, but most people, they never get to that sustaining moment of success. And so they quit too early. It's like the 3 feet before 3 feet to gold, like you're 3 feet from gold and you quit and you just, stuck it out and shoveled another couple shovelfuls, you would have hit the gold. And that's most people. Most people are 3 feet from gold when they quit instead of just staying with it and seeing it around the corner. And then boom, there it is.
Yeah. I mean, you got to have a winner's mentality, when you go into this, like I went into this, I was like, I'm not trying to, make a couple bucks so I can go buy this or something like, a material thing. It was, I'm going to go into this head first so I can get financial freedom at the end of the day. So you have to really live in that end and you have to be like, no matter what I do, I'm a winner. I'm going to get it done. And that mentality is the most important thing when it comes to the industry of wholesale, because there's going to be dips. I mean, I have not enough fingers for the amount of deals that haven't penciled out and have been under contract and have had to been mutually released. It happens. It's a part of the game. But like you said, it's a reward in the end, like that sweet taste of victory when you've had 3 in a row just drop out, the title company's pissed off at you, and then the next one you get under contract and you got a $15K assignment fee. It makes it so much more of a reward. And when that hits, you're like, I love this. Wholesale is amazing. I will never, stop doing this.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. Guys, leave a comment and say, Ryan, you're a flipping genius. It's really, really amazing what you're doing, Ryan. Thank you again for just being that inspiration for so many people that hopefully see this. And I know that you're also, reaching out to people, but I just want you to know how proud I am of you. And I just love that you're just tackling life head on, right? Making something out of your life. You earned it, Ryan. Like what you're doing is amazing. And let's do this, Ryan. Let's revisit, reach back out to me too. And I want to do this again in maybe like 6 months and just see where you're at and what you're doing and talk about some more deals and stuff. I'd love to stay in touch with you and just be a part of your journey.
Yeah. I could not wish more for that. I mean, we'll do some deals together. You're going to have to help me get some scaling stuff in too. We're trying to, take some down on our end and get into the multifamily, get that cash flow. So
awesome.